Good evening, dear students. This is Hiteshri. Okay, as you all know, we are discussing national income and related aggregates. In this regard, first of all, I would like to give you a quick recap related to the concepts, what we have already discussed, and then we'll go for a further concept. As you all know, we have already discussed definition of macroeconomics. We have already seen difference between macro and microeconomics. Then we have discussed final goods and intermediate goods. We have already seen differences between the same. Then we have discussed consumption goods and capital goods. As you all are aware that we have already gone through the exercise part. Then we have stock and flow concept. We have discussed it with some suitable examples as well. Up next, gross investment and depreciation, indirect tax and subsidies, market price and factor cost. We have already seen the implications of the same. Then we have gone through factor income and transfer income concept. Inventory and changes were our last concept, but before that we have already gone through a very major concept, domestic territory and residents. Yes, these two are very important concept regarding national income, because these two are recorded or very important while calculating national income. Okay, we have seen who are resident and who are not, difference between resident and citizens. Now it's time to go for further concepts, which is concept of domestic income, national income. Domestic income is also termed as domestic product and national income as national product. Okay, let's see definition first. Domestic product. Domestic product includes production activity of production units located in economic territory, whether carried out by resident or non-resident. Okay, students, so here what we are discussing, we are saying that we cover all the production activities of all production units. By all production unit, we mean primary sectors, secondary and tertiary, all three sectors located in economic territory. As you all know, we have already discussed concept economic territory, whether carried out by resident and non-resident. Okay, so basically domestic product is nothing but production activity conducted by production unit, whether they are whether they are carried on by resident or non-resident, but the compulsory condition is economic territory. Up next is national product. National product includes production activity of resident only. Yes, my friends, point to be focused, residents only, whether performed within the economic territory or outside it. Okay, so here we are including economic activities of resident only, whether it is within the territory or outside it. Okay, with continuing this concept further, let's see relation between national product and domestic product. The concept of domestic product is based on, pay attention here, the concept of domestic product is based on economic territory or production by resident and non-resident. Okay, while national product concept is based on resident only, focuses on resident only, with whether it is carried on outside the territory or inside the economic territory. Normally what happens, domestic product is calculated first. Yes, of course, always while calculating national income, firstly we calculate domestic product, then we'll go for national product. How are we gonna do it? Let's see. National product is equals to what? Domestic product of all three sectors plus we're gonna add something into it. What are they? residents' contribution outside the economic territory. Our people's contribution outside the economic territory we gonna add. Then we gonna subtract. Subtract what? Non-residents' contribution to production inside the economic territory. It means we gonna subtract those outsiders' contribution what they have created within my economic territory. Okay? In practice, we generally used to call it factor income received from abroad. Yes. Residents' contribution outside the economic territory is popularly called as factor income received from abroad. And non-residents' contribution inside the territory is called as factor income paid to residents. So, in all we can say that in a formula way it works as national product is equals to domestic product plus factor income from abroad minus factor income to abroad. Hope you got it. Now, in all we can say that by subtracting factor income paid to abroad from factor income received from abroad, what we will get? We will get NFIA, net factor income from abroad. Yes friends, it is called as NFIA. Now, important point to remember is that NFIA can be positive, negative or zero. Yes, NFIA positive in the case where factor income from abroad is more. Yes, correct. When factor income from abroad is high or higher, that cases of positive NFIA. Negative NFIA. NFIA is negative when factor income from abroad is less and factor income paid to abroad is high. Zero NFIA, which is very obvious when net factor income from abroad is equal to factor income paid to abroad. That is the case of zero NFIA. Zero NFIA arrives when income paid to abroad is exactly equals to income received from abroad. Okay, let's take this concept further, and in this particular thing I am going to discuss circular flow of income. Yes friends, it is circular flow of income, and here I am going to deal in a two-sector model. Remember models of economy I have discussed in the very first video. We have three main models. First one, open economy. Second one, closed economy. Third one, closed with two-sector model. Two-sector model is nothing but an economy where we observe two participants. First one is household, second one is firm or called as producers. Okay, so in this particular we are going to discuss circular flow of income. As the name suggests, it is a circular flow. Okay, let's see the definition first. Circular flow of income refers to flow of income across different sectors of an economy in a circular way. What they said? They said flow of income which is through different sectors, but in which way? In a circular way. Okay. Okay, as you all know, I have written already here that we are going to discuss it in a closed economy, but closed without a government. Okay, so here I have mainly two participants, household and firm. Households. Who are the households? Yes, households are the owners of factors of production. They provide factor services. What type of factor services they provide? They provide labor, capital, land and entrepreneurship skills. To whom they provide? They provide it to firms, or we can say producing unit. Up next, firms. In firms, income is generated in the form of value of total final goods and services produced in the economy. It means in firms we cover all those units which are engaged in production of goods and services, and they generate their income by selling these goods and services. Okay, so in all we can say that aggregate value of final goods and services, aggregate means total value, in all aggregate value of final goods and services is exactly equal to aggregate factor payment we made to household. Now, these aggregate factor payments exactly converts into final expenditure on purchase of goods and services. See, in my very first video, I've already told you that in national income calculation, income of one is expenditure of another. Okay? In order to go through this concept further in detail, we must go through one picture depiction. Okay, have a look, friends. We have two sectors, as in we are going through two sector model. First one is firm, second one are households. Firstly, these households serves factor services. See, as you can see the flow, factor services are moving to firms. Land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship skills. In return, using this factor, they have created what? Goods and services. Now firms are giving rewards to households in form of rent, interest, profit, etc. And it's households' turn that they are going to spend it on buying goods and services from firms. That's why this is termed as circular flow of income, because the flow of income is in circular mode. Correct? Firstly, household provides factor services. In return, they get factor payments. Then they get goods and services. They are going to spend their factor income in order to spend goods and services. It means income for one is expenditure for another, then expenditure of another becomes income for another. Got it? No? Now, these flows, you have seen these flows, na? These flows are of two types, nominal and real. Nominal flow. Let's see definition first, then I'll explain. Nominal flow is also known as money flow. Is the flow of factor payments and payment for goods and services between household and firm. What we have seen in this particular diagram, that firstly, factor payments are moving. Yes, factor payments. As I've told you here, nominal flow is also known as money flow. So what is flowing on here? Money. In what form? Rent, interest, profit, etc. Then what happened? Household got these incomes and they are going to spend it on buying goods and services. So our very first flow is nominal flow, which is also known as money flow, which is related to flow of factor payment and payment for goods and services. Our next flow is real flow. Real flow is related to factor services and flow of goods and services between household and firms. See, household provided factor services, in return they are getting goods and services. So in all, I can say that factor payments, spending on buying goods and services are concept of nominal flow or money flow, while factor services and flow of goods and services are concept related to real flow. That's all for this. I'll come with new video with some new concepts. Have a great day.